More EIDL grants are processed because of LALATE's advice on Monday. This is a new update for Thursday, May 7th. Thanks for tuning in. This is LALATE. As always, subscribe and like the video, and also drop your comments. We may respond to them in tomorrow's video. All right, let's get to it. We have a lot to cover today. First, we're going to go over a little bit more about the original process. We're going to clarify some issues that came up in yesterday's video. There's a separate video today on the EIDL loan. If you need to know more about the loan, you can go jump onto that video. And we're going to go on to the issue of loan versus grant. All right, so let's get right to it. One of the issues that came up yesterday is the following. If you had originally applied on the application, you remember there were two buttons. Actually, there was a series of buttons, but there were two at the very top. The first one asked, is the applicant an individual who operates under a sole proprietorship or as an independent contractor? The next button was, is the applicant a business with no more than 500 employees? What we want to clarify is the following. If you click the button that says applicant is a business with no more than 500 employees, then your application should have listed a business. You should have listed a business account, a business banking account, and should have listed the business's EIN. That is how, and should have listed the business's address as appeared in the 2019 and 2018 tax return. If you click the button above it that says individual, applicant is an individual, then you should have put in your personal social security number, your personal name, your address that appears in your 2019 personal return or 2018 return, and your personal banking account. What we wish to clarify is the following. If you inverted any of those things, then you have a problem. But if you didn't, then you're fine. So for example, if the applicant was a business, but you put in your personal social security number or your personal bank account, that's wrong. If the applicant was an individual and you put in an EIN, which is used for a business, or you put in a business banking account that's used for a business, that's also an error. But if you did it, you're fine. And what we said in Monday's video, and boy, thank you. I mean, this is day 9 of the channel. 500,000 viewers and 500 comments per day. Lots of you thanking us for finding that error. It is what we discussed yesterday. Unable to verify identity. SBA is holding up your grant checks in some cases because they can't verify you for those two simple things. That you put something in one place, another place you put another. But as dropped in the comments that some of you have had, yes, you could have put a personal banking account if you applied as an individual, but not if you applied as a business. All right, let's also go to another question that came up a lot. There was one application when you applied for an EIDL, it was one application for EIDL, and it was at the end of the application, it asked if you want an EIDL grant, an advance up to $10,000 against the loan. A lot of you asked, and here's the clarification. So the grant is a grant against a potential loan. Just because you get the grant does not mean you get the loan. SBA actually says that. Second, the grant does not have to be repaid. Third, the grant requires no other documentation. That is the full universe of documentation was that form. It was called the Streamlined Process Requirements form. However, the loan requires a lot more documents. So watch the video on the loan to learn what other documents you should have ready. All right, so let's get right to your grant questions. Jean Batiste says, I called SBA yesterday. I talked to someone. I tried to change my bank account that I had provided. I told her I put my bank account information. She said it's all okay as long as you listed your name on the application. There you go. So tell your subscribers it's okay. Yes, exactly. So Jean clearly applied as an individual or sole proprietor, and she listed her personal bank account. That is correct. Keith has the same comment. So, LALATE, as a sole proprietor, you can list the social security number. Keith says that he has heard some SBAs have been able to process a sole proprietor when you list an EIN. I'm not going to confirm that. That sounds very peculiar, that if you applied as Keith Johnson, then you can list an EIN for a business like you know, Ralph's Roofing LLC. It doesn't sound, it sounds a little bit peculiar. Maybe the business name is Keith Johnson LLC, but if it's so different, I would not know what's the answer for that. That sounds a little bit peculiar. Best advice is, if you did that, it's best to really call SBA. If you applied as a sole proprietor and put an EIN of a business and the business name is so dramatically different than you shouldn't assume that's fine, because it's not fine, because that's not what the question asked for. Denise says, I applied for EIDL on 3/31, still have not gotten a grant. Called multiple times. When I asked for another agent, the agent said I have to be assigned to a loan officer, question mark, question mark. I said I wasn't interested in a loan, just a grant. They don't seem to know anything. Help. How long does it take to receive the grant once the bank account information is updated? Okay, so what's going on here is the following. Yes, you're entitled to a grant, and you're entitled to a grant, and you're entitled to know what's going on with your grant. My answer to you, Denise, is you need to call back and try again. Don't get into a grant versus loan and loan versus grant debate, because it's not going to get you anywhere. Basically tell them that, hey, you applied for an EIDL, and it's been a lot of weeks. Where is your grant money? That's all you have to ask for. Where's your grant money? The fact that you've been assigned to a loan officer, however, might be a red flag. It may suggest there was something that they were unable to verify about you. The purpose for a loan officer is generally that. It's a streamlined process application, aka streamline. It should not be assigned to a loan officer unless something, well, who knows? But the fact that it's assigned to a loan officer is a red flag. Eileen, I called in, and the reason is the business name did not match the personal checking account. They're looking for the business name to send the check. And then she told me they're considering me for a loan. Make sure your business name matches the bank account, or it will hold the money up. Thank you, LALATE. Well, thank you, Eileen. And appreciate your comment also on the loan story. So she says, thank you so much for telling me about the bank account and the business name, because that's exactly the reason why no money came. Yes, love you. Thank you, thank you. And we love you too, Eileen. Thank you for tuning in. You are one of a lot of people that have commented that since Monday, that our information to you, that you had provided incorrect information, not out of, you know, out of any harm, but just out of pure error, was holding up your EIDL grant money. This is May 7th, and everyone should have had their EIDL grant money by now. If you have not, you should call SBA. There's something inherently wrong in how you applied that should explain why you have not gotten your grant money. Vincelli says he applied for using a social security number because I'm an independent contractor, and he got his grant. There you go. Home Compass says, I reapplied on Monday when the application went live. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Home Compass. I haven't heard anything, he says. Uh-oh. Home, what went live on Monday was an EIDL grant and loan for agricultural businesses, 500 employees or less. So if you're not them, you're not going to hear back from anyone. Richie says, I applied for an EIDL. Spoke to an agent on May 5th, says because of my personal account information, I had to switch to a business account, and I added that same day. The Tier 2 agent said it had to be added manually, and they would leave a note for the loan officer to see if what I knew, if they could issue the grant now, and that I gave my SBA business account information. I think a little hard to follow, Richie, but I think what you're saying is you had applied for an EIDL for a business, clicked a business, but that you listed a personal bank account, and that someone needs to change it for you. I'm not quite sure how they change it. Certainly don't know. If anyone knows that, drop it in the comments. How have they changed this information? Eileen, if you know that and you're watching this video, drop in the comments how they actually changed it on the phone. Vanessa, is there anyone that can call regarding making a mistake on the number of employees? Nope. They're fixing it when it's 0 employees to 1, but otherwise, if you said 7, you went 9. No, they're not fixing it. I'm sorry. Update. I received my $1,000 grant, and my horrible credit was not checked. Well, congrats. Gremlin. I had taken a $9,000 EIDL grant and paid the rent for my business. Was I supposed to do that for my employees? Look at the website, sba.gov, and it gives you guidance as to what you're supposed to be using the money for. And there's a few comments in response to that. AM. Hey, great info, and a quick question. What if, as a sole proprietor, no employees, do I have an EIN, or what will that effect take if I first file the application? Basically what I said at the beginning of the video. If you apply as a sole proprietor, which you did, you don't need the EIN. LaJewel. So is the EIDL grant different from the loan? I'm so confused. I thought there was only one application, the Streamline application. Please help, I'm confused. You're correct. There was a Streamline application that was used. Now, the fact that there is more paperwork, if you want the loan, that's following thereafter. If you want the loan, they're going to follow up with you with a series of documents they want from you. And those documents and how to fill them out now, because you need to get them ready, there's a series of required documents before even the discretionary documents. Those are detailed in our EIDL loan video that's done today. Sunanair says, you have nothing else to do but wait. They're slow. Just wait in line. Yeah, you can wait, but you also need to get those documents ready. The documents take a certain amount of time. They're not 5-minute documents. They're not streamlined. There's nothing you can do in 5 seconds. So get those documents downloaded onto your computer. They're 3 SBA documents and 1 IRS document. They're detailed in our EIDL loan video today. Get those filled out, because when the loan officer reaches out to you, they will require those documents to process an EIDL loan. And there you go. Finally, one last comment. Thank you for subscribing to this channel and following over the last 9 days. 500,000 viewers, 500 comments per day. We have been here, and we started this channel to help you, to provide you guidance as to why you may not have gotten money that you were entitled to because you put an A when it was supposed to be a C, or a D because it was meant to be an E. And we started this channel because no one was answering your questions. No one was answering your questions, and no one was answering your telephone calls. And you didn't know where to call or how to get an answer to simple questions. We did not start this channel to become anything else other than that. Now, along the ways, that may have caused some jealousy for others. In the last 24 hours, we had to block a few people who jumped on this channel to basically troll for another YouTuber, to promote a YouTuber and his activity, and to, at the same time, disparage some of you. We won't allow this on the channel. It's because of your comments and helping one another this channel has grown, and we are here to help you, and you're here to help us. And we hope that you foster that type of spirit going forward. Again, if you have any comments, drop them below, and we'll try to get back them to you tomorrow in tomorrow's update. As always, be safe and stay with LA for more.